She was shaking as they stripped the gold pins from her hair. The whispers outside the door were getting louder. Somewhere behind the silkscreen, a group of strangers was gathering, nobles, clerics, guards, even servants, each of them invited to witness what should have been her most private moment. Princess Adeline clutched the edge of the bed with white knuckles. Tonight was not just her wedding night. It was a royal demonstration. And by ancient custom, the consummation would be watched. No one had warned her about this. Not in the glittering halls of the palace. Not during her careful grooming for the throne. Not even when she met Prince Dorian, whose soft smile had seemed like salvation after years of arranged courtship. Now she knew better. This was not marriage. This was a ritual. A performance. A spectacle designed to assure the court and the realm that her body now belonged to the crown. The air inside the bridal chamber smelled of rose oil and fear. She wore nothing beneath the thin white gown stitched with fertility. Symbols older than the kingdom itself. The sheets were ceremonial red, meant to show blood if she bled. Meant to display purity to the gathered eyes beyond the curtain. The matrons had explained it with gentle voices, as if discussing a royal banquet. The sheets will be collected in the morning. The high priest will inspect them. There will be witnesses. Adeline had nearly vomited. Dorian tried to be kind. He had pleaded with his father for privacy, but tradition was iron. His position was no stronger than hers. Not yet, so he entered the room with the dread of a man about to betray someone he loved. He found her sitting on the edge of the bed, back straight, eyes fixed on the fire. "You don't have to pretend," she said softly. He sat beside her. "I'm not pretending." She shook her head. "You will. When the curtain opens." There was a pause, then the horn sounded one. Long note. The signal. They had 5 minutes. Adeline turned toward him and saw the fear in his eyes. Not lust, not anticipation, fear, because neither of them was free. Downstairs, the court celebrated with feasting and dancing, but up here, 2 souls were about to be paraded like livestock before a nation that demanded proof of consummation. Whispered, "I will not be part of this." Dorian turned sharply. "You'll be killed. Or imprisoned. I'd rather that than be watched, touched, displayed like a prize horse." He stood and paced, hands in his hair. "Then what do we do?" She rose. "We vanish." He stopped. "What? Tonight? Through the servants' tunnel? You've seen it. I know you have." He looked stunned. "You'd give up the throne?" She stepped closer. "I'd give up everything for the right to choose what happens to my own body." And he believed her, because he felt the same. They didn't wait for the next horn. With trembling hands, they opened the wall panel behind the tapestry and slipped into darkness. 2 would-be monarchs running from the very power they were born into. But the kingdom doesn't forgive rebellion. When the court realized the marriage bed was empty, when the curtains were drawn and the witnesses found only cold sheets and no sign of either bride or groom, the palace exploded in scandal. The guards were dispatched, the tunnels were searched. The High Council ordered the royal dogs to track them. But Adeline and Dorian had a head start, and something more powerful than titles or crowns. They had each other. They moved through the hidden corridors like ghosts, passing through kitchens and cellars, slipping past drunken guards to busy celebrating to notice the collapse of an empire in real time. As dawn approached, they reached the old monastery. Gates. It had been abandoned during the last plague, long forgotten by the court. A place no noble would dare enter, let alone search. There, beneath shattered windows and moss-covered stone, they caught their breath. Adeline collapsed onto the stone floor, laughing and crying at once. Dorian stared at her like he was seeing her for the first time. "Do you realize what we've done?" She wiped her eyes. "Yes, we've stolen our future back." And in that moment, with the world hunting them, they kissed not out of duty or spectacle, but out of choice. Yet even in that stolen peace, danger lurked, because behind them, the kingdom was unraveling. And before them, a reckoning waited. The silence didn't last long. They heard it first as a low rumble, hooves, dozens of them, echoing through the forest path outside the crumbling monastery. Adeline's heart stopped. Dorian rose to his feet, tense and wide-eyed. They found us. No, she said quickly. They don't know exactly where, not yet, but both of them knew the truth. The royal trackers weren't amateurs, and they had the scent. The time for hiding was over. Adeline stepped into the cold dawn light. The old monastery courtyard was choked with weeds and moonpale vines. But in the center still stood the cracked statue of a forgotten saint, her arms broken off, her face worn down by centuries of rain. It was fitting, somehow. A goddess who had been devoured by the very stone meant to preserve her. Dorian joined her. If they catch us, they'll force a wedding again. A real one this time, in chains. On display. No, she said, they'll make an example. The sound of the riders was growing louder. Alyn looked around. Her voice didn't shake. I'm done running. He turned to her. Then what do? We do what they fear most. We speak. What? She pointed to the bell tower. We climb and we tell the world. By the time the guards reached the gates, the two fugitives were already high above them, standing in the broken archway of the bell tower, overlooking the land that was supposed to belong to them. The commander of the royal guard dismounted, shouting up, Princess Adeline, Prince Dorian, you were ordered by the crown to return to the palace and complete the ceremony. Adeline stepped forward, voice steady, full of fire. There will be no ceremony. Whispers broke out below. The guards exchanged confused looks. Dorian stepped beside her, raising his voice. We are not property. Not vessels for tradition. We are people and we will not be paraded for your entertainment. The commander raised his hand, but before he could signal the archers, Adeline spoke again. I speak now to every young girl in the kingdom. Every woman who's been told her worth is in what she gives, not who she is. I was almost one of them. But I choose to be free, and I choose it loudly. A hush fell across the courtyard. Even the horses went still. She took Dorian's hand. We reject the throne. We reject the spectacle. And we demand a world where no one is forced to be watched, stripped, touched for the sake of power. From a distance came the toll of another bell distant, echoing from the capital. Then another, then a third. A signal was spreading. Something was happening. In the village below, candles were being lit in windows, doors opened, faces emerged, and slowly, word traveled down the hill. The princess had refused. The prince had stood with her. A dangerous idea was taking root. The commander lowered his sword. Dorian stared in disbelief. They're not attacking. Adeline squeezed his hand. Because maybe, they agree. The guards did not fire. They did not charge. They stood frozen, unsure if they were looking at traitors or heroes. And then, one by one, they turned and rode away. Not to arrest, not to drag them back, to report, to delay, to wait. The lovers descended the tower slowly, their fingers still laced, and emerged into the courtyard as the sun rose above the hills. For the first time in their lives, they had chosen something for themselves. Not a throne, not tradition, but freedom. Years later, the royal laws were rewritten. The ritual of witness was abolished, and every royal couple after them wed in private. Free from eyes, from judgment, from blood-stained sheets and ceremonial watchers. Alyn and Dorian were never crowned. But they were remembered, not as rulers, as rebels who made the kingdom. Blink, that's the storm that ended a centuries-old humiliation. As the two who stood naked before their people, not in body, but in truth. If this story moved you, don't leave without sharing it. Like, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more true, shocking, and emotional tales from history. Your support helps keep these hidden stories alive.